The next thing is, of course, boosting communities, because what we have learned, Matt, is that you are bloody dangerous. I mean, you personally killed WoW, saved FF14, and also took out boosting communities. Pretty good track record for the last year.
Not bad.
Yeah. Okay, jokes aside, obviously this boosting stuff is something we got very interested in actually on this stream. And after we had a conversation in this stream, we were like, investigation. And you got a bunch of DMs about it. Yep. You started to dive into this situation. We did a 2-part investigation on the topic of boosting. I mean, the first video did pretty well, and it really got people talking.
Certainly did.
The second one, well, it was a part 2, so they don't really get as many, but it also got people talking. And then we just sort of left. It was like, okay, we've done our investigation. We put our thing out into the world. We'll just see what happens.
Yeah.
And this is at a time where we've picked up in this. A lot of other people have picked up in this. Stoops is making his, WoW token is this pay to win video. A lot of people are just re-examining how they think about WoW token in regard to pay to win, especially because it is often facilitating boosting. We have all of these discussions. We sort of think, well, why does boosting exist? Oh, wait, it's actually a pretty damn high quality service that fills a massive gameplay niche. Interesting. Does this have wider implications about the endgame structure of World of Warcraft?
Yeah.
And then Blizzard evidently, at some point, we have absolutely no idea when or in response to what, but they decide to basically prohibit organizations that offer boosting, matchmaking, escrow, or other non-traditional services, including those offered for gold, and that orgs operating across multiple realms and excessively advertising these non-traditional in-game services are going to be violating the terms of use. And they basically say, however, boosting communities, especially those that operate across multiple realms, are no longer permitted. Now, there's nothing to stop, Nova Boosting Guild 1, 2, 3, and 4 across a few different servers. But there is one thing. Is this the forum response from Clivex?
Clivex, yes.
Yeah, it's basically said, the people doing the promoting, those should be the people who are doing the run.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fundamentally it. Like, the idea isn't to kill boosting, because I think they're very aware that it's something that has been going on for a long time. They don't want to play with that because it's like, I guess it's a problem. There's so many people who rely on it. That's how they play. They've long played from the economic side of the game and then moved into boosting to kind of get the rewards from it. All that kind of stuff. Like, we'll maybe step our toe in here a little bit. And obviously, especially when the when the leader of Blizzard is doing sales runs, you can't ban boosting unless he makes a public apology for doing it as well, which I think would be it would be hilarious, but I don't think it'll happen.
Yeah.
So it's mostly the idea of the communities who made it. Well, I think it's like 2 major reasons. One is that the communities made it really, really pervasive because they were so damn good at operating it. And for the impact they had, credit to them. They did an exceptional job of that. But
a pissed off warlock made Ethereum.
Yep.
Whenever something happens to the WoW players, smart people. Yeah. They make really they make stuff.
Yeah, so I think the first case for that was, obviously this is too pervasive. We need to shut it down. Also, I did hear that some of it might be because it was tilting too much towards RMT instead of WoW token, and Blizzard couldn't keep up with the RMT to ban it all because it was taxing resources. So they just went, no, we're going to free up all of these resources for other things by just cutting off this limb, I would say, maybe.
Yeah. But
that has the impact of the second thing, which I think is honestly the most important thing, and that's trade chat being back.
Yeah.
Because I think it was in my tweet, I said, it felt like it was back in a dream that I wasn't really sure ever existed, of just logging into the game and seeing people talk. And you're like, oh yeah. Nice. Oh yeah, this is an MMO, not a single player game with a bot channel for some reason.
Yeah.
It's very, very, very good move, I think.
Oh, it absolutely is. So for just some of the other, updates, clarification, I suppose they've said, on cross-realm boosting, is that disallowed? Well, they basically just say organizations that disruptively advertise across all realms and establish escrow services. So, that's like the money holding to facilitate the boosting, that those are the primary target. Guilds and individuals inviting players from another realm to join them in traditional game activities in exchange for gold are, of course, allowed. Then also the likes of GDKP runs. where I mean, those are a thing. I think they're pretty big in Classic, actually. But on that depends on the definition of financially. If it means exchange of gold only without a middleman, then it sounds like the same sort of activity players have been enjoying for 17 years, which is not the focus of the policy update. So your GDKP runs, safe. If a guild wishes to partake in cross-realm boosting, if a guild had advertisers spamming on and cross-realm for their guild sales, would that be fine? Would not be fine.
Very good.
So
Very good.
that's interesting. A guild can't just have a bunch of people go to a bunch of servers and get going.
Yep.
To provide more clarity for those who are wondering where the lines are drawn in the new policy, we'd like to summarize part of it. Advertising for gameplay activities should be done by a WoW player character who intends to participate in the gameplay activities. This means there should be no cross-realm advertising, and there should be no advertising from non-participating players. Now that is interesting, because what if there's somebody who's just, one of your guildies, and saying, oh, hey, you guys go get ready for the raid, I'll, do some chat, I'll try to get a few people. Not allowed, technically. And as before, the only place that advertising a 4 gold activity allowed is the trade channel. If you do that in any other chat channel or the group finder, your account could be actioned. So it's good that they actually did a more complete clarification there, so people actually know the rules.
That's great stuff, because I think one of the things I immediately started thinking about was, okay, Blizzard are very slow at updating policies, and they're also very, very bad at getting the spirit of the law being upheld versus the letter of the law. Because maybe it's because, the game director's a lawyer, I don't know, maybe. But it's that idea of the letter of the law has always been important, and people have found ways around it historically. But in this case, where Kaivax is always just going, oh, here's clarification, here's an update, here's very clearly the spirit of the law. So that's what it was I'm kind of hopeful that they, rather than this be a one and done, we've reconsidered this is our new way going forward, that's it. Because I've been concerned about communities finding ways around this, and just kind of by any other name, it's still scuffed. But it seems that they will be happy to uphold the spirit of the law. In other words, boosting is going to be substantially more limited in how it's operated. And hopefully that means the impact that it has and the prevalence of it goes down substantially. So it's no longer, when you log into the game, the way everyone appears to be playing, and is more an outlier that you don't see very much.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like, it isn't the way that everyone's playing. It's just that it feels like that when all that you see is, the spam about it, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's like exposure, Name recognition. Boosting has name recognition because it was everywhere in trade chat. Yeah. So yeah, man, that's good stuff. Good change. Of course, many social media reactions. Generally speaking, I think people are pretty happy. So it's now, more the guilds rather than the boosting communities. Of course, everyone's we could check out some of the dissenting opinions. So Tattle saying, I feel like if Blizzard wanted to reduce the clutter in Shade Chat, just make a separate chat channel as a part of LFG for boosting. I'm not really sure what PvP or M+ boosters are really going to do now, since they're not part of an organization or guild. I'm interested to see how it plays out, but I think it'll probably do more harm than good for the game in the future. There's been so much consolidation of gold for everything due to garrisons, WoW token, and boosting. I don't think it's recoverable. So that is another interesting perspective. Yep.
See, I completely agree with what Tettles is saying there. Obviously, you look at I'm not sure what PvP or M+ boosters are going to do. My first instinct is fuck off, hopefully. But that's because I think boosting is particularly harmful for the game overall.
Yeah.
Nothing against the individual. I'm just hoping that the prevalence of it goes down substantially.
Well, how do they pay for their mats then?
They pay for their mats because, actually, very good point. So, what Tettles has done here, whether intentionally or otherwise, has done something that I think has been and this is something I've been thinking about the past while, knowing that beta is relatively on the horizon for 10.0. The way people look at World of Warcraft is very, very, I won't say single-faceted. It's always one thing. It's one thing. What's the direct impact of this? Oh, if fixing a problem results in another problem, we have to call that out. And that takes up a very, single aspect. Oh no, this is bad because of this reason. I feel like there's a substantial lack of feedback, because feedback is usually just, individuals and their perspective. The job that Blizzard should be doing is taking all of that and measuring it out as, okay, here's all of the externalities, here's all of the second and third order effects of what we're doing, and all the potential second and third order effects. And I think feedback from the community has largely failed in that regard, where people provide feedback to solve another problem. They don't provide feedback as, okay, let's look at everything this will do. And this case in particular is, there's been so much consolidation of gold, so I think this is more harm than good. And that is correct, but that is not a reason to not fix the boosting problem.
So then what do we do about gold?
Yeah, fix that problem as well.
Good example from Pupper Doggo in chat who says, no, I'm not going to farm materials, Matt. With this ban, I'm going to sell 15 or 20 carries to fund my mats again.
Yeah.
This isn't 2004. I can't pay for my consumables with an hour of farming anymore.
Yeah, so that is Blizzard's problem, and they should fix that.
Yeah, that's really the deeper point to get at.
Yeah.
Boosting is like your solution to that problem, but we're maybe saying, is there another way to get around that problem? A game design way? Is it the case that it's too expensive for mats? Is the economy well managed?
Yeah.
Because we had so many parameters, like boosting's been in operation for ages, lots of botting has been in operation for ages. So if you remove all the boosting and all the botting, well, what the hell does the economy look like? And what does that mean for somebody who's just trying to pay their way to play the content that they like?
Yeah. I mean, actually, that's one thing that I'm trying to remember the numbers, because we did a video on this. We did a video on how much.
Everyone's just saying, just buy a WoW token. I guess there's Blizzard's solution.
Yeah, so that's the problem.
Uh-oh.
If that's a Blizzard solution, then that's funneling money from players into Blizzard balance for bots, because bots exist in farm materials all day long. So Blizzard need to really, really sort themselves out in 10.0 and just remove any notion that the economic material side of the game is in any capacity helpful for the players who burn through stuff. So what do you do then? You reduce material need for flasks, or now here's the insane thing. Imagine this. You say you're going to get your Valor points, right? You get some Valor from Mythic Plus, but you also get another point. Let's call it, I don't know, maybe just call it Justice, because there's no Justice in the game at the minute. Also no Justice points, but get your Justice points. Maybe you go and buy mats of those. Maybe it's a self-sustaining thing.
Oh yeah.
And maybe you have to, maybe you sometimes have to do something because you run out of mats. But, does that economy as it exists serve the player base? Or is it a massive problem that's incentivizing other problems to exist and is ultimately like they're just so attached to what they think World of Warcraft is in certain ways because they know if they remove the economy element, people will rage? Are they, it's basically balancing things. And are they not willing to make a sacrifice in one area because everything else is scuffed by it, but they're not willing to make a sacrifice because people will be mad? And that's a thing where I think people need to think of the system as a whole and go, well, how do we solve that problem then? How do we get rid of, how do we make gold work for players again? And that's the thing. Gold works for the average player because of the UBI of callings.
Yeah.
And your box stuff like that. Yeah.
Callings.
So people do your callings, and that's exactly what happens. You have a UBI, it covers the average raider. But if you're a mythic raider and you're doing hours and hours and hours, then food every pull. Why is food every pull? But what happens? Yeah. What happens if food now stays for 30 minutes no matter what? Oh no, you've destroyed World of Warcraft. Oh no, you're copying other game. All that stuff. But is it a good thing to do? Try it out. See what happens. There you go. Pots. What if, maybe instead of, you make 2, 3, 4 pots at a time, maybe make 20, 30, 40. You just cut the price down substantially. Or maybe, you wouldn't want to remove them because there's a mild strategic element. And they have toyed with it, moving from the 2-minute to the 5-minute. But, it's all of these problems exist. Blizzard need to look at all of these things. And, basically they need to, and this is the perfect time to do it in 10.0. They can target problems and knock them down one by one. And 10.0 would ultimately feel extremely, extremely different then. And we would all be, outraged looking at the alpha or beta. But then you would have, I guess it wouldn't be Skarsgård's place or Forge's place, but, you see Skarsgård, you see Forge, you see Kaivax come out and go, maybe we get a blue post from the heroic watcher and just goes, listen, these are all the changes we're making. This is why we're doing them. This is what we think the ultimate result of all of these changes will be. Deal with it. We're trying to fix his bloody game.
Yeah.
I think that's what they need to do.
Just
Fuck
get a
off
bit
the
more
soapbox.
ballsy and try and think, okay,
Yep.
you know what? Maybe we just need to evolve and have some fundamental change.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be a bad thing.
Yeah, I mean, this is what makes it difficult, Ragnarsson. So just screw Alchemists then. If Alchemists getting screwed means that the entire gold economy can be fixed and playing the game can be better for a lot of other people, that's another problem they have to solve. So we go, okay, well, we'll shit all over Alchemists now.
Yeah, but it's only as
But-
they are now.
Yeah, so we'll shit all over Alchemists now. Then we will solve that problem. You know, just basically, 99 bugs. Fix one, 101 bugs. Ah, fuck, we've destroyed it. But you take one bottle off the wall until you have no bottles left,
Yeah.
and that's the iterative problem that they struggle with, I find. So I mean, that's the point. It's just they have to keep solving problems so they have none left. Otherwise, they're going to sit and go, "We can't solve any problems. We don't have the ability to solve any problems because you just keep popping up."
You can't flinch and get paralyzed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think that's what happens because they're not willing to budge on stuff. But as 9.1.5 shows and as these two things show, they're willing to budge.